Okay, hi. So over the last few weeks, I've been thinking that bpaul 7 Simul might be equally good, if not better, than Tommy 7 Simul. So of course, originally, I, along with pretty much everyone else, thought that bpaul 7 Simul was worse than Tommy 7 Simul, and because it seemed like bpaul 7 Simul was just an additional move, an additional pin change for absolutely no benefit. So it seemed that it's just the only benefit is memo being easier, and if you want to be fast, you might want to just learn Tommy. That's what I thought for ever since getting into 7 Simul. But now I kind of think a bit differently. So I think there are some things that bpaul 7 Simul might be better than Tommy 7 Simul in. Definitely, it seems to be more consistent officially. Lucky Gibson is way ahead of everyone else in terms of year 12, year 25 officially. I think so. Yeah. So of course that's not the reason. I see kind of consistency that this method can bring, and I was trying to wonder what makes it more consistent. So first off, I don't think that it's the lack of slash memo. So as long as you practice for a bit, slash memo isn't that bad. I don't think I've mismemoed slash on an official solve, mismemoed since 2024, for 2024 and 2025. I don't think it's just the memo, but I think there's three reasons why bpaul might be better than Tommy. So anyway, let's just get into the first one. So the first one, I think, which leads to its consistency, is the fact that in the most standard fast version of bpaul, you kind of have a safety move. So if you know bpaul, you know that wait, you memo this, and you do that here while you solve this to this, and because you see this move, you know that in this case I haven't actually solved the clock because these two are off. While in an equivalent situation in Tommy, you won't know. Of course you can also memo that move in Tommy, but that's if that was also beneficial, more people would do that. Most people don't do that. I did that officially for a while, and then I ended up not doing it because it kind of disrupted the flow of the solve. I think one reason is that for bpaul, those moves are you memo the first, second, and then the fourth and fifth. Well, if you do that for Tommy, you'd be memoing the first, second, fourth, and then sixth. So you kind of just have one memoed move in the middle of five other intuitive moves. So that's why I'd say that this thing works for bpaul much better than it works for Tommy, and thus it's safer. So that's the first reason. Now the second reason is, I think the next two are kind of smaller reasons than the first one. The one of them, I think, is the intuitive moves in bpaul flow better because let's say you have this in bpaul versus something like this in Tommy. So with bpaul, as long as you memo this thing, which you will, you start from here, you're just looking at this four pieces, this, and this. Your whole thing is just concentrated here. Or for Tommy, you're shifting from these two to these two to the rest. Shift to these two, shift to these two. And it's not a big deal, but I feel that with bpaul, you're better able to predict your next few moves in the middle of the solve. You know what you're going to end up doing, so you can make appropriate regrips. So for example, if you have 3 and then -3, you might not want to regrip, but if you have 3 and you know that your next move is going to be a 6, you want to immediately regrip, something like that. So I think that's the second reason. And then the third reason is AUFDNS. So if you're somewhat fast at clock, you'll probably get AUFDNS like as much as you get like back not solved DNFs. So with Tommy, the last move is this, right? So your one side is like 3 pins up, one side is 1 pin up, right? And if you have 1 pin up, like that's like a lot less friction, like a lot less resistive force to the one pin, like the 1 pin move. Like you can just see like how much I'm able to turn that compared to like this. So what that does is that there's a lot less difference between the amount of force that you need to do for like a 6 compared to like a 5, and like that's true for like any move. Whereas for bpaul, the AUF is this, where you have 2 pins up and 2 pins up, and every single piece of the clock is being turned. So there is like the most consistent resistive force, and because of that, like what I think, if you use Tommy, you like, I've asked people this, and most people, like I think everyone I've asked would agree that it's much more common for them to DNF by like this right hand move compared to the left hand move. Whereas for bpaul, like because you don't have that 1 tick move, there's a much greater difference in force between like a 6 and a 5, for example. So you're probably able to aim for that better. So yeah, that's the third reason. So of course there's some reasons why Tommy would be better. So I guess before that I should say, like in terms of the pin transitions, like Tommy is this, bpaul is this. That I don't think that really makes it like, okay, the thing that most people talk about is like changing 1 pin versus changing 2 pins, and I don't think that makes a difference. Like this versus this is like basically the same thing. One thing which could be a difference in terms of pin transitions is for Tommy, like the last 3 moves you're pushing up and up, whereas for bpaul you're going like down, up, right? So definitely like you have to bring your thumb across the clock if you want to do a down pin move, and that can actually be probably something that Tommy is better at, because like you're just pushing up, it's just the natural place where your fingers would be, as opposed to like this. So yeah, that's what I think. I think my conclusion would be that they are like probably equal, but bpaul might be like a more consistent, which is why I personally have switched to bpaul. And yeah, I'm gonna use it like this weekend at a comp. Of course I wouldn't base my decision just based on how I do, because that would be stupid, but like I'll definitely factor in like how much safer I feel when I compete. And yeah, thanks for watching.